built $1 million business while I was working in corporate America. So if you've been wanting to start your own business and you are stuck at your job and you think there's no way I can make it work, I'm going to share with you exactly what I did to be able to build this business on the side that eventually became my full-time gig for the past 7 years now. So let me say this. The good news is you don't need more time because you can't even get more time. What you really need is 5 simple things. The first thing, your lunch break. So I started using my lunch break very differently. Before I decided that I wanted to start a coaching business, I was using my lunch break to go hang out with my friends, to take a break, frankly, like all the things. And then I realized I'm not going to have more time. My youngest son, I think was a year or two at the time, had young children. My house was busy, was hectic. I was already waking up early in the morning, so I couldn't do that. I was exhausted by the time I got home. And so the only time I could use was my lunch break. And I leveraged and used my lunch break, that 30 minutes to an hour, like nobody business. If people already come to you for advice all day long, this is for you. Because chances are you're already doing the work, just not getting paid for it. You do it at work, in the group chat, at church. Anywhere you are giving free advice. And because it comes so naturally to you, you're treating it like it's normal. Like it's not a business. Like it's not valuable. Like you're not sitting on a 6 to 7 figure coaching empire. Newsflash, this thing that people keep pulling out of you for free may be the exact thing that people are getting paid thousands of dollars for all over the internet. And that's exactly what I help women figure out. Inside this free 5-day challenge, I'll help you identify the expertise you've been undervaluing. I'll help you turn it into a coaching offer, and then we'll map out a real path to your first 2K coaching client, because it's time for you to stop hiding in plain sight and stand in your power. So all you have to do is save your spot by clicking on the link below this video. I'll see you in the challenge. I use my lunch break to do things like weekly lives, to take my first sales calls when I started my business. I used it to study. I used it to do my homework for my coaching business. I used that hour like my life depended on it. And I knew my life depended on it. If you're watching this video, you are here for 1 or 3 reasons. You are either looking for freedom of time, like you want to spend time with your children, with your family, or you're looking for freedom of money. You want to make as much money as you want, or you're looking for freedom of impact, or maybe all 3. I was all 3. I wanted all of the things. I wanted all the freedom. And plus, I also realized really quickly that job security wasn't really secure, right? Like I realized what we call security wasn't that. And so I was adamant about figuring out how to build my own business. So I used that time to the maximum that I could. The second thing was I threw away plan B. So for a long time, and I've had businesses, so a little bit of background, I've had businesses since I was 10 years old. I've sold scarves, I've rented party rental tablecloths, I sold shirts, I had a t-shirt line. Most of my business ventures didn't work. But I believe that the reason they didn't work was because I treated them as a nice to have, as a plan B or C. It was never my plan A. And so when I shifted my mindset and decided that this coaching business was the thing, there was no plan B, it had to work no matter what, it changed everything. So much so that I started a 90-day countdown. So I hired a coach after realizing that I couldn't do it on my own. I tried, but I realized I couldn't do it on my own. And so when I hired that coach, I then started a clock. And nobody knew what I was doing at my job, but I started counting down. And I had a 90-day countdown and a date, and I wrote my resignation letter. And when I tell you that I hit that date, I missed that date by 2 weeks. I left 2 weeks later than the date that I had put. But I decided I needed daily reminders of the goals that I had in mind. So I needed to visually see it. So I had 90 days of I put on the board all the days, right? 90 all the way to 0. And every day I would cross it out. Nobody knew what those numbers were for. I knew what it was. So it was a daily reminder of the commitment I had made to myself. I wrote that resignation letter. I was committed. There was no way that I wasn't going to make this work. And it wasn't just me saying that, it was me investing the money, investing the time, investing in my mindset as well to make sure that I become the kind of person that could actually have a business, hold that new level of money, hold that new level of responsibility, and hold it well. I got laser focused. So my coach really helped me with determining what my niche was, what my branding was going to be, and what my offer was, right? My 5 pillar method came out of trying to figure out how to put all of this together. But I realized, okay, if I was going to do this, I couldn't dabble. I couldn't just be like, oh, I'm a coach who coaches a bunch of people. Because when I started, I was trying to do all kind of things. I was trying, because I was a corporate baddie, right? I was a business analyst. So when I started, I said, oh, I'm going to literally take what I know, what I'm doing in corporate America, and I'm going to start a business around it. But it was too vague. So I was going about teaching people how to put together their systems and their blueprint at a corporate level. And people were like, how to hire, how to put training manuals together. I was doing everything and anything when it came to business. And I just didn't know that I needed to be narrower than that. And so what I learned was when you are new, when you are small, when you don't have a huge following, when you don't have a marketing budget, it is so important to be very clear on what. If you're a woman with 15 plus years of experience and you've been coaching people for free and are trying to figure out whether there's enough there for you to actually build a business that will give you the type of freedom you're looking for and the type of revenue that allows you to replace your 9 to 5 and trade it for your online coaching business. I've opened up my calendar this month for a free strategy session. On those calls, we are going to look at your expertise. We're going to get very clear on who you can support and how much money you might be able to make, and we'll roll out what your 90 days game plan should look like. Simply click on the link in the description in this video and book your call. Your niche is, right? Like being able to visualize it. The way that I teach it to my clients is you want that if you're in a room with 10,000 people and your client is in that room, you want to be able to describe that client in enough detail that they can raise their hand. So it's not enough to say, oh, I help women who are stuck. Half of the room is probably going to get up. Heck, I might get up, right? And so that's not enough because that's basically describing everybody, because everybody at some point or in some places of their life feels stuck. What you want to do instead is give enough detail. Stuck with what, right? Is it stuck in their marriage? Is it stuck with raising their children? And is it a new marriage? Is it 10 years in? And what kind of woman? Is this a professional woman? Is this a new mom? You want to be descriptive enough that if I'm in that room, I'm not looking around. You think she's talking about me? I get up because I'm not, oh, she's talking about me. And so what I learned to do was to be very narrow and very specific and to tell the same message and the same story over and over again. That can feel like repetitive, like I need to be fresh, I need to give new information all the time, but repetition is the key. So I learned to not just create content and to not just serve everyone, but to be very focused, very narrow, very niche, so that when my audience heard me, they had confidence that I was talking to them and that I was the right person for them. And finally, the hardest time for me wasn't really the time or the strategy or the blueprint, because let's face it, if you're watching this, you're probably, again, a professional, somebody with a lot of experience, somebody that has a lot to offer the world. And so you can figure things out. You can go to AI and figure things out. But what was really challenging for me and what I've seen now after 7 years of coaching over 750 women is the identity part. If I'm honest with you, I was petrified, right? I was the girl who was always hiding in plain sight and was happy to do. I was the girl who was happy working a 9 to 5 and hiding behind those people's brand. The idea of putting myself out there, putting my name on something, feeling like I get one shot. I only have one name, okay, honey? I don't get multiple names and I don't get to make a mistake. It was a lot for me. Branding and figuring out who I was the most difficult part of this journey for me. One thing that helped me is one of my mentors said to me, girl, you're not Oprah Winfrey. She said, you are not Oprah Winfrey. You can change your brand color. You can change your logo. You are so small that you basically, she's like, you're not even relevant. So you thinking that you get only one shot and you can only have one logo and never change it again is really you being a perfectionist and it's keeping you stuck. Start, go out there, try. You can always rebrand. You can always upgrade, change, evolve. That really gave me a lot of freedom, guys, and allowed me to be able to launch this business. But the mental part, the mindset part, the shifting from being an employee to being somebody that was a CEO was really something that took me some time, that required me to do that internal work, that required me to heal that part of me, or start at least the healing journey of that side of me that was afraid to stand in my own power, if I'm honest. So if you're working your 9 to 5 right now and you feel, oh my gosh, Sandra, I have no time, life is pulling at me, I have the children, the husband, and all the things, and you can't quite figure out how to juggle it all, I want to encourage you to look at that lunch break, right? I've created a lunch method, because every single one of the 750 women that we've coached are women that work in corporate America, are nurses, are teachers, that don't have more time, and we can't create more time. But what we can do is use the 30-minute, the 45-minute lunch break and turn it into something. Because the truth is, a lot of the work that people do and why they're overwhelmed is not actually strategic work. It's not the building, it's the researching. If they're honest, they're stuck on research. But the building, with once you have a strategic plan, becomes really easy. That's why I want to invite you to schedule a call with me so that we can build your own strategic plan. So you're not busy and not actually launching. I've met people that have been busy for years and they don't have a client, they don't have an offer, they have a lot of ideas, a lot of things they've gathered, they know a lot, but it's not translating into sales. So I want to make things easy for you. If you are somebody who is a go-to in your industry, to your friends and family, and you are not making money, you haven't been able to figure out how to turn it into a business, into an offer, I want you to schedule your 30-minute breakthrough call with us, and we'll walk you through what your launch strategy should look like, so you can stop doing busy work and you can leverage the time you do have to actually turn what you know into something profitable. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.